I forgot the microphone. Oops. Good morning, everybody. And it appears that Twitch is now streaming properly. Last night was terribly frustrating because I, achieved affiliate status. I had to enable two-factor authentication. And that meant that Restream couldn't automatically connect with the first live stream after I did that. So that was the fuss last night. I had to go to Restream, fiddle around, which basically broke the stream, got everything logged in, and then it worked. And this morning, because I basically told it to remember me for the next 30 days, we seem to be all right. So I've got 30 days before I have to worry about doing this all over again, so I hope I remember. So, cross fingers. How's everybody doing this morning? And what am I doing? Actually, I'm trying to rank up Bone Widow. Do I have any titania prime parts? Let me have a look. Yay. I do not. Sorry. Fresh out. Let me have a little look in my... I could conceivably get chassis and neuroptic. So I'll tell you what. We'll run I'll run a miso and see if I can get something for him. Miso, rescue. Oh dear, a rescue. I hate rescues. Is that the only one I've got? Do we have an Omni? We do. Okay, Void, Cascade, Survival. Let's see, do we have anything else? Survival. Alright. It's probably going to be easier to do. Hang on, where is it? Is that the only one I've got? Alright, let's give this a bash. See if I can get them something. So hopefully what we'll do is we'll get our...
Our intel suggests that our person of interest is in the vicinity. Search for the hostage and bring them home. There are void fissures in the area. Use these to crack open a relic. You're near a fissure. Defeat the corrupted and use their reactant to open a relic. The reactant is working on your relic. Find more. Stay focused. There's a heavy unit approaching. Find the captive as soon as you can. We don't have much time.
Sorry, Bricage, let me just finish this off and we'll see what we can do. Hang on, which way am I going? on. Where am I going?
You are approaching the holding area. Careful. If the wardens detect you, they will surely initiate the execution sequence.
Where am I headed?
Watch yourself. Grenier are on the way.
I hope I'm going the right way. No, I am not. Sorry about this. Went completely the wrong way. This is known as going the wrong way at high speed, but with great confidence. Oh, here we go.
Well done, Tenno. Your relic is opened.
I'm coming as fast as I can. Oh, this looks vaguely familiar. Hope I'm going the right way now.
The hostage is almost out of time. Hurry. Here are the holding cells. Search each one for the hostage.
Thank you, Tenno.
You've located the hostage.
Oh.
Escort the prisoner to the
Good job.
and I'll take care of the rest.
Afraid I had nothing to do with it. But then, I'm not that great at the rescues.
Got an extra weapon? They won't just let us walk out of here.
I do. I find you. Yay. Oh, great. Where's the door? Yeah. Where's the exit gone? Oh, that way. I really ought to know this tile set by now. Spent enough time in it grinding for void thorns. Sorry, no joy there.
Escort mission complete. The hostage is safe now. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, that wasn't... it wasn't the outcome I hoped for. Right. Sorry, let me go catch up with Prakash and dash to the dojo. Yeah, it's all working. Yeah, okay. I don't think I've got... I know there's no titania on this. So I'll just grab that. You want to go ahead and pick whatever you like, Prakash? Oh, that's right. I was supposed to be ranking up a Nova Prime, wasn't I? Never mind. That doesn't take very long. I forgot. Don't know who that person is. I'll just go along as, I don't know, backup. Someone to distract the firepower. Violate Murphy's laws of combat. The one that says, don't be conspicuous, the enemy likes to shoot conspicuous things.
If lost upon the plains outside Cetus, you may derive sustenance from mineral-dense termite droppings, which the Ostrons call Ito Da. You may also never form a consonant again, but at least you will not be dead.
Which one is this? Lit Earth. I mean, it's a straightforward one, whatever it is.
The enemy is at our doorstep.
What is this?
You must defend our equipment until reinforcements arrive.
Defense.
Void fissures. You need them to open a relic, but are you confident you can withstand their fury?
Oh yeah, I don't think there's a huge problem on this particular level. This one's an easy. I have fond memories of this. If that's the right word.
You found a fissure. Look out for reactant. The enemies are dropping reactant. The reactant is working on your relic. Find more.
Yes, ma'am. I hear and obey. And there's a call out to a very, very old ad on TV, and I can't remember what it was for. I think it was for a building society.
That's it. You opened the relic. Finish your mission and we'll take a look inside.
I'll tell you one curious thing about... some of you may know it, some of you may not. I mean, I kind of knew about this without really knowing about it per se, but it's slightly disconcerting when you... And I'm showing off, so I apologize. It's the only flex I've got. When you monetize a channel, it's slightly disconcerting because now you've got to suddenly provide a lot of personal information.
Extraction is ready.
Including tax information, including bank information, all of which will be verified in some way, shape or form. Let's see. That's 15, 15, 15. And it's kind of disconcerting having to do that. But then that's why you have two-factor authentication, which of course caused me problems last night. Oh, I should have checked to see what everyone was doing.
Another opportunity.
I'm sorry. I should have paid more attention. My apologies. Too busy showing off. And so, but what I will say though is that, you know, that momentary moment of achievement, like, yes, whoa, I finally got this status, you know, is suddenly wiped away by, you know, oh my goodness, what information am I providing? How am I exposing myself? This kind of thing. You suddenly wonder, is it really worth it? And I can't answer that question yet. The other problem, actually one of the main reasons I wanted to get to affiliate status is because in principle, viewers on mobile kind of should be able to change the resolution they watch a stream at. But the problem is I haven't been able to confirm that that's really a thing. I know that if I go and check right now my Twitch preview, I can't change the streaming resolution. But on the other hand, I've also found instructions that say yes, you can. So if somebody on mobile can check for me, that would be nice, because I don't have the method of doing that. My phone is so old, it's not worth doing. Hello, just call you Meta, how are you doing? The other amusing thing is one of the pieces of information you start getting is how to stream at 2K. That is 2560 by 1440. They go into quite a bit of detail about that. Yeah, except that I've been streaming at much higher resolution than that for some considerable time. I think I've been able to establish that if people are getting error 1000 from Twitch when they're trying to view this, it's probably my end, and that is the resolution and bitrate I'm using is simply too high for some platforms and browsers. Because I am actually streaming at about the maximum I think that Twitch and YouTube support, which is 6000 megabits per second. Now, I could conceivably fix the resolution issues by using a different monitor to do it. Then I'd have to compromise my setup and the way I've been doing things for the last year. Oh, very nice. So I'm not inclined to do that simply because, you know, this is me, I'm established, and what I'm doing, so I'm not about to change it. And in my view, streaming, I know people do it, but streaming, say, 2K, and yet you've got chat on and you've got a webcam on, it's a lot easier to set up on widescreen, I think.
Reinforcements available. Do you choose to leave now or continue fighting?
It's a lot easier to set it up, yeah, as you can see, with widescreen like this. But I know, again, people who do it, but... Now, there are apparently ways, if you do simulcasting directly from OBS, that you can have different streaming resolutions. The problem with that is OBS doesn't support that directly. You have to download and install mods to do it. That's the first issue. Is that mod going to be compatible with, say, Linux? And the simple answer is no, it isn't. At least I have not been able to find one. Otherwise, I might give it a try. And trust me, if I could multicast myself and not go through Restream, I'd probably give it a bash. The second problem is you do need substantial upload bandwidth to do it. I could probably manage that. My upload bandwidth is 18 megabits per second. So I've got some spare capacity. I will take a look and see if I can set up simulcast just using OBS. But I'm pretty certain I can't because I run under Linux. And yeah, like I say, then the problem would be is I would be running at, say,
Find out what's inside.
I don't know, maximum 12,000 kilobits per second. Megabits. Yeah, that's right. And so then I've got to actually run the game. It should be possible, to be honest with you. I think I've got enough capacity to do it. Because my internet connection is pretty solid. It doesn't really change that much. So I do hereby undertake to go back and double check what mods are available that I could run under Linux for simulcasting. Oh, because the other problem is, of course, the load it'll put on my GPU. Because I think I might be, or should be alright. You do need, if you're doing hardware encoding, and I don't recommend you do software encoding for streaming, that puts quite a load on your CPU. Hardware encoding's a lot better. Yeah, I'd have to use up substantially more of my GPU, which of course takes away from playing the game. Although my hope would be that I could still run at 60 frames a second. So I have stuff to investigate because the way I thought things would work hasn't quite been confirmed. So just call me Meta, can I ask? Do you do hardware or software encoding when you stream?
Extraction is ready. Unless you can handle more of the enemy.
Yeah, I think we're good to go. I feel underwhelmed. I do not have a big honking sword. If they would allow me to go to the armory, I would I'm just choosing these at random. Lith G4. Do I have a Lith G4? I don't have a Lith G4. Oh well, we're all going random.
To defend, you will be rewarded for your bravery.
Yeah, but it's all still working, which is good. By the way, big shout out to Prakash, without whom I probably would not have made affiliate status anytime soon. So thank you very much. Very kind of you to put all that effort in. I think I owe that little achievement to the Warframe community. And it has to be said, somewhat to the Long Dark community over the last few days. Because I did ask some of them to go and please watch me on Twitch. Which they duly did, so... Now I will say, as much as I will be showing off a little bit about essentially getting monetized. By the way, I have no plans to switch ads on. I'm not going to do that, I don't think. I think that would irritate people. It does give me something else to talk about, so if anybody else is heading or wanting to get to, affiliate status, I've got some experience now, so I can talk about it. So, which might conceivably be useful. I will say, however, it did take me over a year. Oh, great. I wish I could say something about the Harrow chassis thing. Please stop giving me Harrow chassis blueprints. I have to admit, I am curious to see what kind of bots I will have approaching me, trying to sell me goods and services. That's going to be interesting. Whoa, what happened there? It's always satisfying when you get that done.
Reinforcements available. Do you choose to leave now or continue fighting? Fighting. Another opportunity to extract will appear soon. That's it. You opened the relic. Finish your mission and we'll take a look inside.
Ah, come on. Don't get stuck. If we go again, I'm gonna have to equip war or something, just so that I'm not the only one without a honking sword. Where's everything gone? Apart from Valhalla, I suppose.
Extraction is ready. Unless you can handle more of the enemy.
I want to swap out for a big sword.
We're done here. The extraction team will take over from here. Time to evacuate.
All right, let me go and get a big sword. Ah. Oh, great. Oh, for heaven's sake. Can't get out. Where's my big sword? There we go. See? I got a big sword too. Oh. What's this big thing? Impact. Have I got? Oh, I don't have enough space to put anything else on. No, I don't have enough space to put that on. No. Oh, I can't have both. Right. Why have I got cold? Hang on. And reach. Let me fiddle with this a bit. Sorry, fiddling. Ooh, that's not good. Nope, can't stick that on. Have I got seismic wave? I don't. There's not much point in putting that on. Yeah, that'll probably do. It's not optimal. There we go. Now we're out. They're not doing a very good job of it, to be honest with you. I mean, that's not too bad. I've got only 3. I do want reach, do want seismic wave, maiming strike. Don't really need that, to be honest with you. Primed heavy trauma will work. Yeah, I don't think I've got any space for anything else. Yeah, that's okay. Oh, wait a minute. Can I put on conditions perfect? No, I don't want conditions perfect. What is it I want to put on? It's dispatch overdrive, isn't it? No? Okay. That works, but I could have sworn I had a better one. Was it Mentors? No. Ah, Dreamer's Wrath. Don't have space for Dreamer's Wrath. Okay. Right. What time is it? 5:36. I haven't been going long enough yet, and my bladder isn't complaining. Yet. It'll probably start complaining soon. Let's see. Oh, I thought I misspelled impractical for a second. Yeah, I understand the appeal of the hulking big sword. It's very anime, isn't it? Even if it doesn't. Oh, and video games. I mean, you know, who forgets? Who can forget? What's his face? Cloud Strife and his honking big swords. I've told the story before. Somebody, there was a YouTuber once decided to build something like that, and because he couldn't make it out of metal because it would be far too heavy practically to even lift, he made it out of things like titanium and carbon fiber. Ended up with a 10 to 11 pound sword, and then found he actually had problems with the wind hitting this big sail-like blade. Interestingly, yeah, the heaviest practical swords, I mean practical, usable swords that you find, I think the heaviest is 6 or 7 pounds. And, oops, oh dear, 6 or 7 pounds, and that's for a Zweihander, which is more like a polearm and used in some ways quite differently from a regular sword. But even some of those were surprisingly much lighter. But 6 or 7 pounds is top end for one of those. There is one possible exception that I can think of, and I think it was a Dutch gentleman who I think was known as Peter the Giant, and they allegedly have his sword in a museum, and it's supposedly his actual real sword. Now you've got to think about bearing something in mind about this guy. he was 7 foot something tall. You know,
You found a fissure.
when they call him a giant, he was humongous by the standards of any standards, let alone by the standards of the time. And there is a sword that is attributed to him,
The enemies are dropping reactive.
and it looks like a very practical sword. There were very big swords known as arming swords, but they were not practical. They were not intended for use in combat, and their purpose was purely ceremonial and to be flash. This isn't one of those. And apparently it weighs something like 14 pounds. And that is the largest sword I can think of that might conceivably have been used by somebody.
Well done, Ted.
But even so, it must have had a very limited use case. And of course, we don't know that it was ever actually used in combat. It's just that it is slightly weird in that it doesn't fit the parameters of a ceremonial type sword. And I may be getting all the names wrong. But if you ever go and have a look online, and you'll see plenty of videos about people essentially using a Zweihander. And they are obviously not massively heavy. They are light, nimble, terrifying, frankly. And very big, but they are not massively heavy. Like I say, 7 pounds, 6 or 7 pounds is at the upper range for those things. Lighter than that is very common. 5 pounds, probably much better. Ooh, I do like this sword. Don't know how effective it would be at Steel Path or something, but hey, it's fun to use, I'll say that.
Reinforcements available. Do you choose to leave now or continue fighting?
The classic longsword, by the way, which ran from about 1300s to 1500s, about 200 years. Ah! Who needed a Titania Prime? Everybody jumped on Titania Prime.
Continue to defend. You will be rewarded for your bravery.
Oops, sorry. Yeah, but the classic hand and a half sword, which I don't think it was ever called that, but anyway, yeah, typically referred to as a longsword. A heavy one of those weighs about 3 pounds. And it's a light, flexible weapon. And actually, it was literally quite flexible. Well, I wouldn't say it's exactly spring steel. The blade would flex rather than break and then spring back into shape. Which is attributes associated with Western style swords. The Japanese style swords apparently tended to be stiffer. That is, they were less likely to bend, but when they did bend, they wouldn't spring back. And honestly, it's a matter of opinion and style and this kind of thing as to which is preferable. There's no one definitive answer. Curiously, and this may be the reason why it evolved that way, the stiffer Japanese katanas are apparently easier to use because they don't require such precise edge alignment. And edge alignment on a cutting sword is really, really, really important. And a katana, because it's stiff, can be. There were, by the way, more flexible katanas, I think. Yeah, you didn't have to be quite so careful with the edge alignment, which probably made it, for most people, easier to use. Whereas something like a Western style longsword, edge alignment's much more important because it will flex. So you have to get that edge pretty much where you want it as you make your strike, so that it's more effective. Because if you get it out of line, the blade will flex more and you won't get an effective cut. At least that's my understanding of it. So yeah, Western style longswords might be harder to use. Or require more training, at any rate. Which isn't to say, you know, there are always exceptions. I'm told, I can't remember who mentioned it, I think somebody who should know what they were talking about, Matt Easton or somebody like that. But yeah, there were actually katanas made which were more flexible. I would imagine that there could easily have been European style longswords which were stiffer.
Extraction is ready, unless you can handle more of the enemy.
There's always variation, which makes the subject quite interesting. Let's see. Oh, yeah.
Fighting. Another opportunity to extract will appear soon.
There's a few quite impressive demos I've seen, again on YouTube, of people demonstrating sword stiffness and flexibility. The one that sticks in my mind is, and I can't remember the channel, so I apologize. It's a gentleman taking, I think it was a sword he had made himself, and it was, I think, a Polish style saber. Not positive about that. And he demonstrated that you could take this thing, and it took effort to do it, by the way, bend it so that there was a 90-degree angle in the blade. And it took effort to do it. It was not, just bend easily. No, this took a lot of effort. And then when he released it, it snapped back into its original position, which is, truly impressive. And while our modern metallurgy is much better than at any period in history, and trust me, it is. Well, no, you don't have to trust me, but yeah, no, it is. Modern steel is better than any steel anybody's really manufactured in the past. Certainly more consistent. But yeah, they could have made such a thing. It would have been hard, but they could have done it. I probably ought to stop talking about swords now, otherwise I'll start talking about katanas, and that will irritate some people.
Extraction is ready, unless you can handle more of the enemy.
Oh, I see I'm still getting the cheap viewers bots showing up. Whoa! I have not seen that one before. Yeah, grab that. Looks like she's wearing a jellyfish on her head. Right, once we've done this cycle, I am going to have to take a quick break.
Another opportunity to extract will appear soon.
Tell you what, I don't actually think this sword is actually more effective than my usual beloved Gunson Prime. But it looks as cool as hell, you gotta admit. Once I get Bone Widow ranked up to level 40, I'll have Former left over to play with things like this more.
You have collected enough reactant to open your relic.
I like to joke that you could, with the right mods, you can make a toothpick deadly in this game. That is deeply satisfying, it has to be said. There's something about doing a run and just everything goes down on your way past and you don't have to stop. Oh, crap. One day, when I've got all possible mods for it, I'd love to simply take something like this, its sort of primary natural damage, whether it's slash or impact, and just see what you can do if you absolutely max it out. And don't bother about elemental attacks. I know it won't max out the damage, but it'll still be interesting to do it. How it works. Yeah. In fact, this is primary. I don't think I've got any elemental damage on this one, do I? Now that I think about it. Would you stop that? You are irritating me and I keep wanting to hit you. Actually, seeing as I'm talking about swords, one subject that sometimes comes up
Reinforcements
is...
available. Do you choose to leave now?
No, I do need to leave now, and I'll continue this in a moment. I have a need to pee. What have we got? That's 15. Oh, actually, oh no, I've got a Paris, haven't I?
That's the last of them. Objective is secure. Let's go home.
Right. Okay, as I said, I'll be back in a couple. Right, and I'm back. What are we doing? What are we up to? Anything in particular? So, what was I saying? Yeah, one subject that comes up in movies and books is the use of exotic materials to make a better blade, especially sword blades. Now, of course, in the modern day and age, there's not a huge amount of demand for practical combat swords, although I suppose there is a limited use case. I've heard rumours of that, but I don't necessarily put too much stock in it. And the simple fact is, no one has yet come up with a good alternative, all-round alternative to carbon steel. So far, nobody's come up with it. I mean, you can make a blade out of pretty much any suitable metal. Stainless steel, very useful for some knives, smallish knives, but some knives, in an environment where you don't want corrosion to affect it. Problem with stainless steel is it's brittle, and you could fiddle around with it, but as far as I understand, you can't make a stainless steel blade that's as good as a good carbon steel blade. Ceramic. Of course, ceramic blades appear in this game. The problem with ceramic blades is you could make them extremely sharp, but they're also going to be extremely brittle. Oh heck, you can make a very, very sharp sword blade, a very hard, sharp sword blade, and it'll shatter like glass. Literally, you drop the thing and it breaks into pieces. So people speculate, well, maybe you could use a very hard and sharp blade and then surround it with something softer and more durable. Yeah, you could do that, but then your edge is going to notch and crack quite quickly. And there is a historical example of this, and that is the Aztec, and I can't remember how you pronounce it, sword club, we'll call it that, which basically was obsidian blades set into a wooden handle. Those things were extremely sharp. There are stories, and I have emphasized those stories, of them being able to decapitate a horse with one. Now that's almost certainly not true, not with a single stroke at any rate. But the truth would be, no, those things would probably be good for a fight, and then you'd have to replace some or all of the blades set into the handle. You could see, yes, you can make a blade out of titanium, but apparently I can't remember what the problem is with titanium. It's not as good as carbon steel. Fine for knives, but you're not going to make a sword blade out of it. You can make a blade out of silver for your werewolves, but silver's a terrible blade material. Strangely, the largest blades, practical blades I can think of that use silver, were actually for cutting fruit, and they were very small. Oh no, this guy's cracked this for the fun of it. Trying to think of some of the alternatives. Diamond blade surrounded by carbon steel. Well, good luck. I mean, never mind the idea of how you would get them to stick together without delaminating. I mean, I'm sure you could do it. Very expensive and very brittle. The one material I have not encountered anybody talking about for sword blades would be using something like tungsten carbide. I'm not sure. I'm sure somebody must have tried it, but I have not. What are we doing here?
Leave no one standing.
Oh, it's an experiment.
Void fissures. You need them to open a relic, but are you confident you can withstand their fury? A fissure. Defend yourself and use reactant to open relics. Use that reactant to open a relic. We're going to need more reactant if you want to open that relic. Stay focused. There's a heavy unit approaching. The relic has been cracked open. Finish your mission to find out what's inside.
I did hear about a knife, and I can't remember the They essentially tried to and did make a small knife out of titanium. And then they covered it in, I think it was titanium nitride, to, I suppose, support the blade. And they found out that the cutting ability of the blade actually came from the fact that the titanium nitride accidentally formed little teeth, microscopic teeth along the edge of the blade. Which was, and that actually helped the cutting effect, but it was not intended. Now, before anybody mentions it, yes, there are obviously kitchen knives made out of ceramic, and they are very sharp and very brittle. It seems every time somebody tries to come up with, you know, something specialist, you end up with something that has a specific use case. That is, it's good for one specific purpose, but it is not. Do I want to necessarily bother going up there? I suppose I do.
The enemy is broken. Well done. Now get to extraction.
Of course, the other blade material that saw a lot of use in history was bronze. And bronze works, but it's nowhere near as good as steel, to be honest. That's why it didn't persist. And as far as I'm aware, there isn't an alloy of bronze that comes even vaguely close to steel. However, it does have the advantage that, you know, if it bends, and they do bend, you can just beat them back into shape fairly easily. Oh, what's that?
Mission complete. Excellent work, Tenno.
Oh, I needed plastids. I always need plastids. What am I saying? Anybody want to do that again, or what are we doing?
There is a large platoon of Grenier Marines stationed here. Leave no one standing. Void fissures. You need them to open a relic, but are you confident you can withstand their... You found the fissure. Look out for reactants. Defeat the corrupted, and use their reactant to open a relic. You are going to need more reactant if you want to open that relic. Stay focused. There's a heavy unit approaching. That's it. You opened the relic. Finish your mission and we'll take a look inside.
Woof woof. There is something really quite satisfying about a good meaty thunk when you hit something in this game with the suitable weapon. It's the one thing you don't get from a Warframe. You don't get that meaty thunk. Oh, that's a terrible thing.
Good kill!
Ah, come on.
Stay focused. There's a heavy unit approaching.
Or certain definitions of the word heavy, I'm guessing.
Enemy is broken. Well done. Now get to extraction.
On this tile set, I keep expecting to listen for that sound those old grief devices make that I can't remember what they're called. When you're farming void thorns. Let's see. 45, 15, 15. Ooh. Let's grab another one just in case.
Another job well executed.
Strangely, another area where you kind of see people trying say another area. There's people always trying to find things to make with new materials technology. But one of the other ones that crops up occasionally is rifle barrels or actions, or the same with pistols. And once again, nothing's really been found to replace good old-fashioned carbon steel. I mean, you can make some very good stainless steel barrels, it has to be said. I don't know that they're any better. There has been an attempt, somebody did actually attempt to make a titanium barrel. And it eroded in quite dramatic fashion, apparently. Literally, as I recall, yeah, it was literally stripping chunks off the rifling after a surprisingly few rounds. There is somewhere, and I read it, and I can't remember all the details, the US Army did look at ceramic barrel liners for 50 caliber heavy machine guns. And in principle, a ceramic barrel could be a very good thing. Especially if you'd have to surround it with something to support it. So you'd have this very brittle, very hard barrel liner surrounded by something like carbon steel to support it. And
a large platoon of Grenier Marine Station.
They didn't find, as I recall, any particular advantage to it. And in fact, barrel life was not fantastic, as I recall. It wasn't in the end considered worthwhile to go through the expense of switching over to a ceramic barrel.
You are going to need more reactant if you want to open that relic. Stay focused. There's a heavy unit approaching.
For a while, I remember there was a company that actually used a very slim barrel wrapped in carbon fiber. I don't know if they're still going. I mean, that would certainly work. You know, you'd have a...
Finish your mission and we'll take a look inside.
But it then becomes a question, is it worth it? And I think the simple answer was probably no, it really wasn't worth the effort. One of the reasons that isn't worth it is you can actually make what they call pencil barrels these days, which are extremely good, so you don't have this requirement to make ultra lightweight barrels anymore, because yeah, you can make lightweight barrels that are very good, and they're just regular carbon steel, which would be a lot cheaper than doing something exotic. I must admit I'm a bit out of touch with that, so I don't know if there's been any changes.
Another successful mission. Find extraction.
Where's the exit gone? Where's the exit? Yeah, I would get to the extraction point if I could see it. Where's it gone? I cannot see the marker on the screen anywhere. This way somewhere? Oh, come on, you'd think I'd know by now. No, no, no. Ah, somebody's put a waypoint down for me because, for whatever reason. Ah! Yeah, that was delicious. Yeah, okay.
Another job well executed.
It's my thing. I get lost. As I like to say, at high speed and with great confidence. Oh, okay. What are we trading for, Prakash? Ooh, I'm guessing. There will now be a brief pause while we kind of negotiate. Actually, while he's doing that, let me report this guy. Nope. No, how do I report this guy? Oh, okay. Hang on a second. I'm gonna have to remember when the time comes which bits that I can actually repeat. I think he will have picked these up. can't spell contribution. Oops. I'll offer him up anyway, because he's just given me more than... yeah. I mean, that's 90, and he's giving me... 360? Yeah. I wish Sky Children of the Light had a similar trading system. I really need to write a suggestion to the devs for such a thing, because there's a bunch of people that would really, really, really appreciate being able to trade in the game, and it would be very useful to be able to do. They implemented something along the lines of what we have in Warframe. You know, that would be very nice. I mean, everybody's got stuff they don't want or don't use in the game, but there's always stuff that other people want because of varying tastes. I can think of a few things I wouldn't mind getting for some of my avatars that I will probably never have a chance to get that other people aren't using. But I have stuff they probably do want. People's tastes in terms of cosmetics and fashion vary so much, there's always some trade that's possible. Whoa. Yeah, I've actually got one of those, so that's my second one. And I've got... do I have a new optics? I think I do. Actually, I need it. Actually, let me see. Nah, let's not worry about it. Prakash is... it's... yeah, as I said, it's Prakash who has... really, really helped me get to affiliate status on Twitch. So and I always feel guilty about asking him for assistance because he's been so generous. In fact, a bunch of my subscribers have been. So yeah, any opportunity I get to pay it forward, I do undertake. Yeah, I'm all for that. Yeah, what haven't I cracked? Pick one at random. It has to be said, while as much as I love the Gauss, no, I'm not about to give it up anytime soon. Caliban and the Shaku look truly spectacular in comparison. They make the Gauss look drab.
Our position has been compromised. Defend the cargo until reinforcements arrive. Void Fishers, you need them to open a relic, but are you confident you can withstand their fury?
No. Yes. Delete where appropriate.
You're near a fissure.
The corrupted enemies are dropping reactant. Collect it to open the void relic.
You are going to need more reactant if you want to open that relic.
In other news, concerning the other game I streamed, which is The Long Dark, if you didn't see yesterday's Long Dark stream and you're interested, go watch it. It turned very interesting very quickly. Let me just say that. It was a challenge, I will say that. I think I called it escaping from a white hell. Yeah, it was more like escaping into one. The bit that I thought was going to be hard was easy, and the bit that I thought was going to be easier turned out nearly lethal. So it is, yeah, it was interesting.
Finish your mission and we'll take a look inside.
I'm not going to... no spoilers. Not during this live stream, at any rate. Might not mention it much during... summary either. I'm not sure if you should necessarily regard it as an example of how to survive. I'm not entirely certain what I could have done differently, to be honest. But yeah, it was very interesting, if I say so myself. Bearing in mind that I think most of the people that I know, I think we all play permadeath. That is, you do a long dark run, and when you die, you're dead. That's it. So, yeah. Doesn't matter how many days you've got into a run. So I'm at 200 or so in the current one. If I die, I have to start over. On general principle.
Reinforcements available. Do you choose to leave now or continue fighting?
There were some interesting moments. Let me put it that way. And yeah, I'm not going to tell you where in the stream the interesting moments were. 25, 15, 15. Doing the shuffle.
continue to defend, you will be rewarded for your bravery.
Yeah, in terms of... I've had some survival moments playing the Long Dark, and while this one wasn't... I don't know. I've got one, I think it's entitled Never Give Up, which does illustrate a vital point. And in terms of pure survival, I'm amazed I got out of that one. So that's worth watching. And funnily enough, it happened in the same basic location. The ravine and coastal highway. Exactly where I am now. But very, very different lessons in survival.
Finish your mission to find out what's inside.
Sounds like a mini Godzilla.
Extraction is ready. Unless you can handle more of the enemy.
Oh, wait a minute. No, have I got a Ureli Prime? I don't remember.
Keep fighting. Another opportunity to extract will appear soon.
enough reactant to open your relic.
Oh, excuse me a second, I think I might have to sneeze. Nope, apparently not. And I just missed that jump completely. Completely wrong. Yeah, nose wants to sneeze, kind of, sort of, but isn't going to give me the luxury of actually doing it. Sorry, expended effort on an ally there. Almost missed that one.
Extraction is ready. Unless you can handle more of the enemy.
Nope, I'm good to go. How about everybody else? I got one of those. I will get a former. Always need more former. Oh, excuse me.
Keep fighting. Another opportunity to extract will appear.
Yeah, I think I can do one more of these, and then I'm going to have to get ready for the next live stream. So I shall whip through this. Have a dose of salts.
Well done, 10. is opened.
No, I don't think I've used my natter at once in this. Very unusual. Normally I find some reason to, but not today. Okay. That's just a confusing ally. Sorry, but I see green and glowy, I tend to want to hit it. Or anything and glowy, frankly. And I'll be honest, if I see something moving and it's not glowy, I tend to want to hit it. Better safe than sorry, you know? Should do a quick run around if there's any bits I'm missing. Apparently not. Surprise. Actually, I did have a Necros. I fed it to the helmet. And I think I did use that feature. But it's still a bit disconcerting to me. I don't normally have the time to sit down, take a look and say, oh, it's not shooting at me, it must be on my side.
Reinforcements available. Do you choose to leave now or continue?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to leave now, gentlemen. And any ladies. Judging by my demographics, mostly gentlemen, but I could be wrong. have... yeah, I now have to, ideally,
That's the last of them.
yeah, do the usual stuff you do when you get up, that kind of thing. So I now have to wind down. Ooh. Oh. Excuse me. And it occurs to me that I'm not sure I've hugged Achilles this morning. Where is Achilles? You gonna come out and say hello? You normally do. Yes, you do. So, as I have implied, I will be back with the Long Dark in almost exactly 2 hours. That will be 9 AM Greenwich Mean Time. Back with Warframe, 7 PM Greenwich Mean Time. It's the weekend coming up, which means nothing is scheduled officially. I do mostly do an evening live stream at some point, but like I say, it's not part of my official schedule, and I have tasked taking the habit of taking at least the morning off. It's good for me to take a break and possibly do a few other different things. So, again, thank you to everybody for helping me get to affiliate status on Twitch. Thank you, everybody, for watching. It is all much appreciated.
Everything in order?
Remember to hug your Kubro and your Kavat. Be kind to animals and small children. Or is it children and small animals? I'm not entirely sure. Or both. And I will see you all next time.